Hey everyone, welcome back. Ready for another deep dive?
Definitely.
So it's this English learning podcast called Daily Money Briefing.
Huh. Interesting. Okay.
It's actually pretty cool. You get the
Yeah.
financial news and kind of a language lesson all in one.
Oh, I like that. Sort of killing two birds with one stone.
Exactly. When you look at all the global headlines flying around, it's easy to miss how things connect, sometimes in pretty surprising ways.
Absolutely. Seemingly separate events often link up.
Exactly. So today, we're going to take a closer look at some recent global news. We'll try and connect the dots between trade tariffs, a tech CEO jumping into politics, and, well, the basic economic health of a country.
Sounds good. Unpacking the core issues.
Right. Our mission is to pull out the key insights, help you understand what's really going on, and show how policy, markets, and growth all intertwine. Hopefully you walk away informed, not overwhelmed.
Let's do it.
Okay, so let's kick off with these trade tensions. President Trump recently announced a plan for a 25% reciprocal tariff on basically all South Korean products.
Right. The idea being if they tax U.S. goods, the U.S. taxes theirs back at the same rate.
And it's starting August 1st. It got delayed a bit from July 9th. He said the trade relationship isn't mutually fair. So this delay, does that mean anything? Maybe softening.
Well, interestingly, no. That doesn't seem to be the thinking. Analysts are actually seeing this delay less as backing down and more as a strategic move.
Strategic how?
To buy more time for more negotiations, basically. It's a pretty standard playbook, using tariffs as leverage, not just as an economic thing, but a negotiation tactic.
Wow. Okay.
And Trump's letter to President Lee Jae-myung was very clear. It specified all Korean products shipped to the U.S., and importantly, that these are separate from any existing item-specific tariffs.
So on top of anything else already there.
Exactly. So for you listening, it makes you think, how do these big tariff announcements really echo through global trade? It affects a whole country's export plans.
Yeah. Big impact.
Yeah.
So, okay, South Korea is dealing with that pressure from the outside. But what about inside the country? What are the big internal economic challenges they're facing right now?
That's a really key part of the picture. The OECD just downgraded South Korea's potential growth rate for this year down to only 1.9%.
Wow, 1.9%. That's low.
It is. And the reasons they point to are pretty fundamental, quite deep-seated. You've got rapid population aging, which is a huge factor. Then there's low labor productivity, and private investment has basically stalled.
So, serious structural stuff, not just temporary bumps.
Definitely.
Foundational challenges.
And I saw the Lee administration proposed a big extra budget, right? Something like 31.8 trillion won to try and boost spending.
Yeah, they did propose that.
So how are the experts looking at that? Is throwing money at it like this going to fix those deep problems you mentioned? Is it enough?
Well, look, it's a lot of money, no doubt. But many experts are kind of skeptical that these one-off fiscal injections, as they call them, can really shift the long-term direction.
Just a temporary boost then?
Pretty much, yeah. More like a stopgap measure. The consensus feeling is that South Korea really needs a comprehensive long-term strategy.
Like what? Things like reforming capital markets, really finding ways to boost labor productivity, pushing advanced industries, cutting back regulations. Given that downward trend in potential growth, a systematic government plan seems pretty urgent.
Right. It really shows you what a country is up against trying to lock in future growth when facing those kinds of headwinds.
Exactly. Demographics and economic structures are tough things to change quickly.
Okay, so we've got policy moves, internal economic struggles, but sometimes market shifts come from, well, unexpected places, like maybe one influential person.
Oh, for sure. Individuals can definitely shake things up.
Which brings us to Elon Musk. He just launched a new political party, the America Party, and he's openly opposing Trump. What did the market make of that?
Yeah, the reaction was immediate and pretty telling, actually. Tesla's stock took a nosedive. It plunged nearly 8%, opened way down, like 7.6% lower than the day before.
8%, just like that.
Just like that. Investors clearly got spooked. They saw Musk's political move as a big risk for the company, maybe taking his focus off Tesla.
A distraction risk. And interestingly, I noticed a competitor, Rocket Lab, they compete with SpaceX, right? Their stock actually jumped, went up over 6%.
Yeah, that's fascinating.
What does that tell us?
Well, analysts are calling that jump a kind of political risk premium in reverse, almost. Or maybe Rocket Lab is benefiting because it doesn't have that particular risk right now.
So investors are wary of the CEO's politics bleeding into the business.
Exactly. Wall Street's basically warning that Musk getting deep into politics could overshadow Tesla's actual business, adding this whole new layer of volatility.
It's a really stark example of how a CEO's personal political actions can directly hit the stock price. Not just their own company, but maybe competitors too.
Absolutely. It shows how interconnected everything is becoming.
So, wrapping this up,
Hmm.
what does this all mean for you listening? We've seen how one country, South Korea, is trying to manage global trade fights and its own internal economic shifts.
And we've seen how one very prominent business leader's political move can send ripples, pretty big waves, actually, through the financial markets.
Right. So maybe the thought to leave you with is this. What does all this tell us about this landscape we're in now,
Hmm.
where, economic health, political ambition, and company performance seem more tangled than ever?
Something to think about until next time. We hope this was a useful shortcut to getting informed.
Something to think about.